What is the best ad strategy you should follow going into the Q3, Q4 period? Now, there is no right or wrong strategy. I'm sure you've watched numerous amounts of media buyers in your experience, but regardless, it really just depends on your brand, what current position you're at, and what your goals are within the next 3 to 6 months, even 12 months from now. E-commerce, there's a lot of future planning because you have to order stock inventory ahead of schedule, probably 3 to 6 months in advance. And ultimately, you're trying to drop collection drops, you're trying to expand product line, you're trying to do all of these facets within the business. The last thing you want to be worried about is, okay, what ad strategy should I follow? Now, who am I? Why should you listen to me? My name is Chris Hernandez. I'm the founder of ScaleVelocity.io. And what I do is I help brands get set up for exits. Now, in my portfolio, we manage north of $1 million plus a month in ad spend. And with that, there are different methods we try and we utilize for different brands at different points in time. The traditional layout of your campaign structure is you have your CBO campaign and then you have your ABO campaign. Now, what are the two differences between both? Well, at the CBO level, you're simply setting your budget at the campaign level and you're letting Meta's algorithm spin budget to where they see fit, depending on whatever ad set you have. Now, CBO is great because you're going to go fully broad. You're going to see cheaper CPMs. If you're trying to acquire top of funnel new transactions, this is how you do it. The only downside to CBO is you have less control of what's actually happening in your ad account. You're more at the whims of Meta's algorithm. And of course, Meta just recently got rid of their DCT, which is now, it's a new feature or it's a different iteration of the dynamic creative test. And instead of at the ad set level, that's moving to the actual advert level. So with CBO, there's pros and cons. I mean, you're going to need a decent amount of ad spend. I would say north of $150 to $200 a day, because think about it, you're going broad. You need way more data points to train the algorithm. And if you're pushed to scale within the next 3 to 6 months, let's say you're trying to prepare for Q4, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, CBO is something that you should have a campaign plan within like 30 days in advance. You need to be hitting the metric conversion events at 50 conversions in a week to get out of the learning phase to see at least stability within the CPAs and really see cheap CPMs. Now, of course, the beauty of working with CBO going fully broad is that your creatives are doing majority of your targeting. So you can go full in-depth detailed targeting with the creatives at the concept level. And as you expand those concepts, as you expand hooks, as you expand these offers, as you expand these ideas, then over time, you're getting more of an idea of, okay, how does a specific audience interact with this specific landing page or this specific angle or this hook, right? And you're training the pixel, you're training the algorithms to now target these specific audiences while going fully broad. So CBO is more of a long-term investment. I always see cheaper CPMs at scale, at higher ad spends, but there are periods in time where you're strapped for cash. You might need some more cash flow to hold you over. You may need to place an investment into inventory. So like I said, you're strapped for cash, whatever reason, right? What ABO is and how is it different from CBO? Well, ABO is simply put, you're setting your ad spend or your ad budget at the ad set level. That is simply what ABO is. Ad budget optimization, ad budget at the ad set level. Now, when you do this, you have more control of what's being tested because you're setting more targets and you're opening up more ad sets. You have more control of what's actually happening in your ad account. You have more control of the specific copy. You have more control of the headlines. You're not using Meta's auto-generated music from like previous DCTs, whatever, right? With ABO, you have more freedom, and also you have the luxury of even targeting middle funnel, bottom of the funnel transactions or people who might have bought from your business in the past. ABO, you can run interest-based targeting, which is like the old philosophy of media buying. You can run Advantage Plus, which is simply put, you're targeting individuals that mimic other competitors that are targeting your ideal customer profile. So let's say you run an apparel company, right? Then you have a competitor in the same exact industry as you. They have a customer base. Let's say they're already advertising on Meta. They're spending way more than us. We can run an Advantage Plus campaign. And ideally, if we have congruent copy, trying to reach the same ideal customer profile, we can snag some of their existing customer base via Advantage Plus. Now, granted, with ABO, with more interest, you're going to have to pay with higher CPMs, higher CPAs. That's just the nature of this because at scale, there's only so much bandwidth you have at targeting that ideal customer profile. You need to expand the funnel. You always need to at least attract new ideal customer profiles to scale holistically. Now, with ABO, as I covered, you have Advantage Plus. As I said, you can do interest-based targeting. And then also, you have more control of how much ad spend you're spending a day in correlation to the amount of tests you have present. For example, you can go and say, let's say you have a tight budget. You want to find a winning advert within the next 4 to 6 weeks. I can go from spending $300 a day to now mitigating that and reducing ad spends and being more fluid, where I can go from $300 a day to $150 a day to back to $300 a day, because that ad spend is correlated to the amount of tests I'm running. So I could start off with, if I have 10 concepts, like 30 adverts, I can run 10 different ad set tests within one single campaign, let that run. Within 7 days, I get some data back, and then from there, I turn off losers, run with winners, and then from there, I just relaunch a new batch of tests. So your ad spend, you have more luxury of turning on and off, when to scale, when to pull back, versus CBO, because with CBO, you're more increasing the ad spend steadily by 5 to 10% every 2 to 3 days. So that's kind of the beauty behind both. Is with CBO, it's more of a long-term investment. I can scale further, and I'm going to see cheaper CPMs because I'm invested in top of funnel new transactions. Rather with ABO, it's at this point in time, I'm strapped for cash. I want to control my ad spend. I want to control how many variables are being tested, and I want to mitigate as much risk as possible. Then you're going to be more conservative with your ad spend at the ad set level with ABO. So there is no right or wrong strategy. With my experience, with the amount of brands we consult and help at different sectors, at different stages, there's a strategy that should be utilized at different points in time, depending on the goal, depending on the objective. If a brand is optimizing for an exit and investors are now looking at EBITDA when valuing this brand, well, then for sure, I'm going to look at contribution margin as a North Star for me, because I want to make sure I maximize as much net profit while also minimizing as much ad spend on loss of efficiency. Now, that could be correlated, saying, okay, if you run CBO, majority of your winners over time, or majority of your ad spend over time is going to winners, which is, yeah, that makes sense. But also, you need to have the right offer or SKU that can run year round. You need to have a product that can be evergreen with ideally a CBO. Whereas when you have specific collection drops or specific product releases, I'm not investing into those campaigns longer term. This is a specific drop to get a specific point of inflection of cash, because whatever, we just have a new product release. That's just the way the business is made up, right? We expand on LTV. If you're in that situation, well, then ABO's the right scenario for you. Vice versa, if you have a brand that has really strong LTV, the goal is now growing top of funnel new transactions. That's where I'm shifting the model to CBO. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're tired of getting burned by ad agencies, you want the exact protocol so that you can have really high profit margin. And if you ever wanted to exit your business one day, you can. Check out scalevelocity.io. You can read my free 30-page protocol. And of course, you can book a call with me, speak directly with me, and I'll walk you through how we set up brands for exits. With that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.